Islamic worldview is built on three basic principles. The first is Tawheed, the assertion that God is one. The key to the meaning of God's oneness, however, is found in the formula of witnessing, the Shahada, and the foundation of faith. To be a Muslim, as everyone knows, one begins by acknowledging there is no God but God. Tawheed, unity, has two basic implications. These become clear when we insert any of the so-called 99 names of God in the formula of Tawheed. God is powerful, so there is none powerful but God. God is merciful, so there is none merciful but God. God is loving, so there is none loving but God. The first implication is that God alone is truly God, truly real, truly one, truly alive, truly loving, and so on, down the list of the 99 names. This means that anything other than God does not and cannot possess these qualities on its own. Divinity, reality, oneness, life, knowledge, power, all are exclusively divine attributes. Now, the second implication of the formula is that everything in the universe receives whatever reality it may have from God. In other words, there is none powerful but God means that everything we call power can only be a sign or a trace of the divine power bestowed upon created things by the one reality. Thus, the whole universe is, in terms of the Quran, a vast collection of signs, ayat, pointing to God as the ultimate reality and supreme principle. That this way of thinking about God does not allow for any real break between the divine and the human, or God and creation. Yes, God is infinitely transcendent, but he is also omnipresent. One of the results of this way of looking at things is that Islam has no concept of deism, which depends upon severing the links between the divine and the human. Most people nowadays, whether they know it or not, tend to think of God in deist terms. For example, religious people who imagine that the Big Bang marks the moment of creation, or that scientific notions of causality or evolution are sufficient to explain the nature of the world, are taking deist positions. In other words, they think that God, having created the world, then either lets the world run its course, or he stands off at a distance and rarely interferes, or he only interferes when things really start getting out of hand. Such notions of God's aloofness are totally alien to the Islamic tradition. On the contrary, all things are utterly dependent on the supreme reality at every instant of their existence. There are absolutely no gaps in the divine omnipresence. Now, this brief explanation of Tawheed